Hi friends, Dr. Ben, Not a Real Doctor here. Today I want to talk about some foundational human movements. These are movements that you start doing when you're an infant to start building up your motor pattern, start building strength so that you can move on to more complex movements. Everything I'm going to show is going to be groundwork. These are very, very basic things. Some of them, if you have not done them before, like since you were an infant, you may be surprised how challenging they can be if you're not used to them anymore. So we're going to start with some really simple stuff, offer a few different things you can practice. These are things that you can do, as part of a morning movement routine to get things flowing. It's always good to go back and revisit the basics, see where things aren't necessarily working for you, and pick up problem areas that you can sort of work with. So first thing that happens when we're little is we spend a lot of time laying on our backs. And the first thing we learn how to do really is to roll over and get to our stomach. So, it's a really tiny room. We're going to see how well this works here. What you're going to do is you're going to flex your core and sort of arch your back and roll to the side. By arching your back and rolling over, it allows you to just roll to your side. Now, you can do it the other way to go back to your back. You can also do things like use your arms to build momentum and help. And you can also use your leg. So those are three different ways you can practice rolling over. If you haven't done this in a long time, you might be very surprised how challenging this is for your core. A good way to practice this is start with assistance with either your leg or your arm. I feel like the arm's a little bit easier. It gets your upper body moving. Doesn't require as much core stabilization as balancing a big leg. And then if you want to try it without using any sort of movement, where you're just using your core to roll you over, that's going to be the most challenging way to do that. It's a good thing to practice, figure out how well you organize your core. So that's just rolling over, right? From there, we can work on sitting up, all right? So the easiest way is going to be roll to your side. Place one hand down in front of you, push up, other hand beside you. Then you can bring your legs into, whatever kind of position you want to work on. It doesn't really matter. Lots of ways to sit on the ground. So this is a good way to just work on that rolling, take that rolling someplace. You can roll over to your side. And you're just going to post this elbow and use it as a pivot point. Hand, push up, come to sitting. All right, again, another good thing to practice, get used to. Engage that core a little bit. It's a little bit more useful than just doing mindless sit-ups. Get a little movement out of your into your day, just from the ground. If you would like to take rolling over to the next level, once you're laying on your belly, you can practice picking up your head. Now this seems really silly, but a big step in human movement is learning to engage the muscles in your upper back to support your head. And honestly, because we spend so much time looking down at our phones, head projected, that sort of stuff, this can be a really good way to just get a feel for those muscles in your upper back again and help them do the job they're supposed to be doing. Just kind of sitting here. It's not an overly projected position, but just supporting your head with the muscles in your upper back and really your middle back can help remind your body how to support its head properly. From here, you kind of want to practice getting your feet or your legs up underneath of you and coming up to an all fours position, all right, hand knee position. And you can practice doing this lots of different ways, all right. Really, you want to swing your leg up and under you, rotate your weight over, bring that other leg up underneath you, and just push up to a hand knee position. This is really going to work your abdominal muscles and your hip muscles, swinging up here to the outside. These muscles tend to not get a lot of use with us. This is a really good way again, to wake these muscles up on your side and start feeling them again, get them trained so that you're really using your entire core when you move instead of just select muscles that have just taken over for everything else. And once you hump to hand knee position, it's kind of fun to just kind of crawl around. I love crawling around. Sometimes I chase the dogs. It's just fun. Dogs think it's kind of weird, but you know, it's all in good fun. Now the thing when you're crawling is you want to make sure you are working in a contralateral motion. And what that means is that you are picking up right hand, left leg, left hand, right leg. And this is important because this is the motor pattern we use when we walk. If you find, and you'd be surprised how many people do find, that they're walking like this when they crawl because it's been so long since they've done it. The problem is, if you have that motor pattern when you crawl, it means you're not very good at coordinating opposite sides of your body, and some of that probably carries over when you're doing other movements. If you want to take the crawling to another level, you can practice keeping your arm straight, keeping your leg straight, and just picking your arm and leg up using just your core. And again, this gives you better control over contralateral sides. You're learning to coordinate those muscles across from each other, those limbs across from each other, so it can transfer over to other movements. Now, if you really, really want a core challenge, I personally think, figure out a way to make this work in a really, really tiny room here. Prone crawling is a great one. So the hard part on this is getting a feel for the contralateral. I find it's easier to put elbows and knees together. That way one side is compressed, one side is stretched. You push with this knee, pull with the outside elbow, and you roll over. So what that looks like from this side one more time. Push with this knee, pull with the outside elbow, roll your hip over. All right, so if it's the other side, so you can see from both sides, you're gonna push with the outside knee, pull with the inside arm. All right, so that's a really good one to practice if you want to get some extra core movement. One of my favorites for really, really working on your core. It takes a lot of stabilization. The lower you keep your belly, the more work it's going to be. So those are just a few foundational movements. Those are really the very, very beginnings of human movement. A good thing to throw into your morning warm-ups, daily movement sessions, things like that. Keep the movement pattern fresh, allow you to continue to use it so that you can continue to use it well into old age instead of, as most of us do, not move so much, lose those movement patterns, lose that ability to move like that, and have lots of mobility problems late in life. So those movements, again, real quick: rolling over, sitting up, coming to all fours, bringing your legs up to your side, crawling, and also prone crawling. That's hand knee crawling and prone crawling. So those, play with those, try them out. You can make a whole sequence out of them. You can experiment with it, have a good time. It's all in good fun. Movement is good for you. Different varied movement is good for you, and groundwork is the foundation for every other kind of movement. So play with that. Anyway, that's all I got for you today, guys. I really love these movements. I hope you guys enjoy them. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you like that video, smash that thumbs up. If you know somebody who could benefit from these movements, share the video with them. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. Till next time, keep your life in motion.